Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 82 of our coronavirus stay in place order. Some crazy times we got going on right now. I keep coming on here every morning and venting my frustrations with society. It used to be just the coronavirus, but that doesn't seem to be the only situation we're having problems with right now. Good morning, Susan. How you doing? A little day in history lesson for you. Good morning, Kathleen. How you doing? Um, John Wayne died on this day, 1979, and a funny little story is when we first moved to Los Angeles, to Southern California. We had friends of the family that lived in Pasadena, and the street they lived on had was bordered to this the Huntington Hospital, which was a huge place. And we used to sneak through the fence and ride our skateboards in the hospital because they had really nice sidewalks. But I remember seeing John Wayne laying in his bed. This was probably a week or so before he passed. But a lot of famous people go there, went to that hospital. I think it's still there. But anyways, so yeah, very frustrating times right now with this whole virus situation. Good morning, Anita. How you doing? And I'm a big opponent of that if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. Tearing down statues of Christopher Columbus, tearing down statues in general is not a good idea. Statues help us to learn history, good or bad. We can't erase the bad history and only focus on the good. That's even worse than just ignoring history altogether. Slavery, it happened. You can't, and trying to deny it is another fact. Not flying the flag, the Confederate flags. Yeah, I get it. It is somewhat a symbol of oppression. So yeah, I get it. NASCAR has banned all Confederate flags at any of their events. And NASCAR was very, very, very prejudiced for years. If you haven't seen, there's a movie called Uppity. It's the story of Willie Tiggs. And if you don't know who Willie Tiggs is, he was a black race car driver from back in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Very good race car driver, phenomenal race car driver. And him trying to get into NASCAR wasn't going to happen because he was black. And they just they weren't having any part of it. Even though there had been, black race car drivers through NASCAR history, Wendell Scott and a few other, I don't think, maybe one more. But Wendell Scott was like one of the founding fathers of NASCAR. He was back in the 50s when and he worked for what he got. So yeah, there's a lot of prejudice, and and it's a lot in the South. It's the South was where all the hotbed during the 60s was at. Alabama, Mississippi. Watch The Help. You watch The Help, it'll explain a lot of the South to you, and how the privileged white people came about. And yeah, you're right, Anita. Slavery wasn't just one race. It was the Irish were enslaved. The Jewish people were enslaved thousands of years before Christ was born. You can still go to a market in not in South Africa, but in somewhere in Africa. I can't remember exactly where it was, and still buy a black person. It is still possible. So until that is fixed, until slavery is abolished everywhere in the world, even the Vikings had slaves. If they conquered your village, they took you as slaves. This is human nature. What's going on is an inert part of our DNA. There's a reason why there's no Neanderthals anymore. It is because the Homo sapiens have this DNA thing that's going on where my God's better than your God, my village is better than your village, so I'm going to kill you. You can't deny it. And we're getting better at it. We're getting much better at it. But we obviously got a long ways to go. Obviously. So anyways, I'm going to, let's see what else. Let's read some comments here. Are there any? Yeah, that's exactly true. They sold themselves to history. They sold themselves to, you're in the camera. I'm going to sell that village because I don't like them, kind of thing. And you don't want to get into the whole history of slavery because it's ugly and it's just nasty. And Gone with the Wind. So they pulled Gone with the Wind off HBO Max, and I think they pulled it off of Netflix and somewhere else. I don't know why, because Gone with the Wind is a great story and depiction of the Civil War. Just like North and South back in the 80s, you can't get away from slavery. But Gone with the Wind, the black actress that played the slave in Gone with the Wind, she won an Academy Award. Best actress, best supporting actress. And this is the 40s now, 1940s. A black female won an Academy Award for her part in that movie. Now, why would we pull that? Why would we be ashamed of that? That's history right there. That's breaking barriers. I can't believe I'm having a talk about racism right now. It's just yeah, there's a lot of backlash about that NASCAR decision, but I can see it. I can understand it. I can understand the whole scenario. I don't. I'm torn between the Confederate. I believe it's part of the Alabama state flag. It really the Confederate flag was just made so they can identify the two different armies out on the battlefield. But it's become a symbol, like a swastika, of oppression. Now, get me wrong, the swastika is definitely a symbol of, bad things. White supremacy, that is definitely, because that's the way the Nazis were. But we're not going there. But, I think that times have changed. Some of these symbols definitely need to be put in the past. They need to be taught. But you know what? The Christopher Columbus thing, let's jump on that for a second. Our school system taught us wrong. They sugar-coated history. When we were going through grade school and we were learning history, we were learning world history. I'm a big history person, so I remember a lot about how they taught us. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. Oh, that crap. Okay. Christopher Columbus never even really made it to North America. I mean, I don't even think he set foot on North America. Why? And there was people here far before Columbus. We have proof that the Vikings made it to North America. We have proof hundreds of years before Columbus ever even was born. So why did our school system idolize this man and put him in the forefront and give him a day, Columbus Day, and all that? Yeah, it wasn't. If you want to get mad about pestilence and all that, The British. The British are ones that brought smallpox and all those other diseases. It wasn't Columbus. Um, yeah, let's see here. And we pulled in a movie because they're trying to control bands, including capital. Yeah, we can't. You're right. We got to stop blaming. We got to pull historical documents. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You cannot hide from history. History is there. History happened. If you don't, you're doomed to repeat it. If you don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it. I think history is one of the most smartest things you can learn, and just understand and accept and move on. Because there's a lot of things we did to the Native Americans. White. I say this, but white people, you kind of dug your own grave on this one. But that was our ancestors. But that was, you see these posts. I never owned slaves. I've never. None of my ancestors were slave owners. My first ancestors came to this country in the latter part of the 1800s, and far after slavery. So I can say with confidence that I have no ancestry that I'm aware of that were slave owners. And you're going to find that very few people did. Very few people, because when you were a slave owner back in the before the Civil War, you were a very high status. There was still the lower class that just, they did all the other type of work. Not everybody was a slave owner, and doesn't make it wrong, but I'm just saying, stating a fact. Anyways, all right. So a little history lesson today. John Wayne died today on this day. Here it is, day 82 of our stay in place order. It looks like we're having a little bit higher surge. Some surges are starting to come in on the coronavirus. Georgia, who opened first, was one of the first ones to open, is now recording record highs of deaths, and they're still open. Let that sink in. That's a new expression I see a lot on Facebook. Let that sink in. Time will tell. We'll see. Time will tell. Let's see if I can make sure I miss any comments. Comments. Yeah, I think I covered everybody. But hey, thank you everybody for coming on and saying hi and being there this morning. Sorry about my rant on. I'll try to give a little bit more history in the mornings because I think history is important. And I think that's what we need. We need something different than coronavirus and talking about Black Lives Matter and all that kind of crap. And all human lives matter. All human lives matter. Let's just leave it at that, okay? So, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here before I start putting my foot in my mouth. Anyway, so here you go. Elbow bump. Live long and prosper. I love you. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wear your mask. And I will see y'all tomorrow.